Welcome everybody to the first Envision for b.lay in 2016. The idea is that we're going to do this a few times, just a quick update from our side on what we believe is currently happening in the market and what are the themes we see, read about, feel about when we are talking to our clients. It's a new year, 2016. The newspapers are full with visions of the year and what will happen over the coming 12 months and maybe even longer. Even this morning I read an article from one of our major banks where the analysts state that the ICT market will grow about 7% over the next year alone and will continue to grow for the next few years. More software is being pushed to the market. One of the other things the analyst wrote about was that there are more and more smaller companies entering the IT market because of the new SaaS and cloud models. It's easier for smaller firms to get a grip into the IT market and sell their products. And with this in the back of our minds, we can kind of think of, okay, what will happen, or what do we think are important themes and what's happening in the market today. So I want to split it into two parts. One part is about how we, the things we see in the market, so what is really driving and happening in the market nowadays. And the other thing is what is the consequence of these events that are happening and what's going on. So I'll split it into parts. One part will be what do we see, the other part is what do we believe is the consequence of this happening today, and what do we think that software asset managers, IT buyers, CIOs, people that are in the IT market buying and deploying software should worry and think about. So one thing that is a very clear trend is that because there's more software, because the world is changing, there's an increasing amount of software models, software licensing models. So you could say there are more license complexity. So more license complexity. So what does it mean? We see today that a lot of clients and a lot of hype is around software as a service, cloud services. We see alternative business models standing up. You see even larger software publishers moving from historical models to the other. And one could say we live in an age where today's software market is all about cloud, it's all about software as a service, where in the reality the complete licensing, or 90% of the licensing for most of the larger firms, even the smaller firms in the world, are still from the last century. They're still a perpetual licensing model with on-site and on-premise software, and they have to make a move. And this move will not happen overnight. This move will be done slowly. We see that a lot of clients only have a small percentage of their base now on cloud licensing. And cloud licensing and software as a service licensing, either in your bring it your own license or in a SaaS type of model, they are complementary to the existing licensing models. So instead of simplifying licensing, what the idea is, or what the thought is that a lot of people have today when they say, well, if I move to SaaS, all my licensing problems are away, the reality is not the same. And also a SaaS license is a license that you need to manage. You need to want to keep grip of your software spend and your control and how much you spend on a particular service. So instead of simplifying it, it's just a larger complexity. And we see this with the larger complexity on a daily basis. We ourselves, we're a relatively small firm, we're about 40 people. Just to give you an idea, we already have, we deal with about 200, of course, we are the license management company and you manage your own licenses. We have about 200 software publishers in-house. And this is only for a relatively small firm, 40 people, 2 locations around the world. This is what we already have to manage. And the majority of our licenses that we use are SaaS related, but we have a lot of combinations, even in a small firm, between perpetual software, SaaS software, we deploy Macs and PCs. You know, it's very similar to a larger firm, only on a small scale, and already for us, it's quite a task to do it, let alone for our clients. The second thing is that, which relates to this subject, is that because of the new cloud models, because of a lot of new smaller publishers hitting the market, is that we have more IT complexity. And where not so long ago we spoke about a two-tier architecture where we had bit of a dumb client and a server. In around 2000, we all moved to a 3-tier architecture with a web server in the middle. Now we have multi-tier architecture, 6, 7 tier. There's software in the cloud, software is being moved. There are middleware layers that connect to your entire network. Software is being, data is being shipped from left to right. It's not strange for data to move over 5 or 6 systems before it's actually being deployed again. You need to integrate your in-house software with your external SaaS solutions. The complexity of IT increases. More and more people deploy software on various devices. It's not strange anymore that you have software on tablets, but it's also not strange anymore that coffee machines start to talk back to the providers, whether or not they still have coffee in them, or refrigerators start to say, let's say industrial refrigerators start to push back the data through GSM networks about what the temperatures are, the maintenance schedules, everything else. So the IT domain is changing us in a really, really rapid space. There's a lot of small firms that innovate continuously on these type of domains, and they become part of the IV infrastructure and making it all a lot more complex. So these are the two things that I think are happening today where a lot of companies need to worry about. And that is part of their current decision structure and part of the current complexity. Now the consequence of these for software asset management, because you can say these are not just trends that you can see from a software asset management or a licensing point of view, and you could say software buying becomes more complex, IT becomes more complex, or you could say the cost of software goes up because IT becomes more complex, because the market growth that they predict need to come from spending clients. The other side means that for our market, for license management, or for software asset management, I think there are two very clear trends that I think are unmistakably in the minds of our clients and affect them and us on a daily basis, and that is also what we are thinking about, how we're going to help our clients simplifying and helping solving these problems on their side in the coming 12 months going forward. So one of the trends here is that more and more clients start to realize, and also other entities in the market, that this is actually really a profession and is a very complex task to do. And a lot of companies need to go focus on their core and think, do we really want to set up a software asset management department ourselves? Do we really want to manage this ourselves, train our people, do all of this, and then invest in heavy knowledge for people on doing this, and when they leave, start all over again? Or are we going to outtask or outsource software asset management? Now, the requests we get for this, the propositions we are building, especially also with our partners, is really going in this direction. We see that clients understand, guys, this is a complex thing to do, it's not our core business, help us do it. Inherit this problem for us and take on solving this problem in our company. You need to be a specialist to do this. The market is full. So I've often said the software asset management market is a new market. It emerged in the last 10 years. It is full with entrepreneurs that want to take part of it, individuals that claim they can do a lot, sometimes even small firms that claim they can do a lot. But it requires knowledge and expertise. It's not as simple as just installing a tool. It doesn't mean that if you collect data in a tool, you're all of a sudden compliant. There is a complexity here that you should wonder, do you really want to do it yourselves? And we see that our clients are wondering if they want to do this themselves or not, or outsource this to knowledgeable firms like us. But even for us, we very often don't deliver this alone. We have a strong network of partners that can help us to say to our clients, and this could be smaller or bigger clients, could be global multinationals, where we say, okay, together with our group of experts, together with our partners, we can take on a task of completely outsourcing your software asset management to us and drive this problem for you and solve it. The second item on this side, which has an effect on us, is that where software asset management, at least to a lot of people, was kind of like an ideology almost. So there is an ISO standard or an ETIL standard, and from an effective way of deploying software, you should do software asset management. I think there is a move for software asset management to really be and be expected to be a cost saver. Software asset management as in a principle to say, okay, according to good practices, we should make sure we onboard and offboard software in a really good way, that we have a good software catalog, that we know exactly what's being deployed, we know our infrastructure. That is a really, really big challenge. And I meet very little clients that say to me, Mark, my highest goal is to be ISO certified for software asset management. Their request is, okay, help me save cost. And this goes also back to the more complex IT and the more licensing complexity. With the upcoming of all these new products, and with upcoming of cloud licenses, the upcoming of online subscriptions that you can take to do your software deployment, you start to double a lot of product functionality in your firm. So many companies do not all of a sudden have more need for different business functions. They have the same business functions, but now solve it with different software. And it's not uncommon that we see that clients have 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4 types of software doing exactly the same thing, but used by different user populations, or only a small portion of the particular package is used on one side, one part is in the cloud, another part of the company uses it still on their desktop. So there is also a huge chance for software savings if you actively monitor what's going on in your IT domain. Gartner said that a good software asset management practice will deliver you approximately 10% year over year in cost savings. I think this is a really, really low estimate, and my experience is that if you have implemented it, so there is a process of setting up software asset management in a good way, right? Focusing from a risk point of view, having the right procedures in place and the right quality in your program to really get not control of your entire domain, but on the part of your IT infrastructure where you think there is an opportunity and there is a risk. By doing this correctly, you can easily get, I think, 30 to 40% cost savings year over year. Not to talk about cost avoidance, which is really more on the audit risk side, where you would have potentially shortcomings and how you could mitigate those shortcomings by steering your organization on the right moment. But really on pure cost savings by taking out software you don't need, ensuring that you don't have software that is the exact same functionality that you have already purchased in a different package of software. We see trends where software catalog management all of a sudden becomes part of the software asset management question. So could you help me do that as well? And I think these are interesting trends which really are a very practical type of business function for what software asset management or license management can bring in your company. You know, should we do this really ourselves? Let's get rid of this function inside our firm. Maybe have a few people that are evangelizing software asset management or ensuring the lock-in in our business processes. But for all the knowledge that outsources to people that can do this, it can also bring different skills to the table. Today, you focus on desktop software. The next day, we focus on, I don't know, business process automation. The next day, we focus on how we're doing on the database side. You know, how do you really optimize your knowledge on managing software and optimizing software? And then secondly, drive it not purely from a, okay, we should be ethically compliant and we need to have all the processes in place to do a textbook perfect implementation of software asset management, but use it as a cost saver and as a business driver inside the firm to say, with all this happening on our side, we need to make sure that we do the right shakeout of the right software at the right time to save cost on this side. So I hope you can read it. It's a bit hard to read maybe on the black whiteboard, but this was just my 4 bullets that I wanted to highlight with you in this first 2016 version of my Envision. As I said, this is mainly based on conversations we have with clients, with our partners. As you might know, we write a lot of blog posts on the website, on LinkedIn, so feel free to hook on there, where we often talk about these items as well, and often also list the research or the related articles where we based our vision on. Thank you for your attention. In advance, have a nice weekend, and if you have any questions, feel free to, after this session, to reach them to us, to put them on through the platform, or just contact me through any of the other channels. Thank you very much. Again, thanks for your attention and enjoy your weekend. Cheers.